Hey, how's it going? So as you've probably seen, the world of tech has been quite different from what we've gotten used to in the past 5 years. And I started my channel almost 4 years ago now, and it's very different from when I started my channel. I mean, as far as a lot of these devices, they're really just new iterations that are almost identical with a few minor changes and tweaks. And companies are getting so bored of this format that they're switching to the virtual world. I mean, Apple did it, and I'm thinking more companies are probably going to do it very, very soon. So I thought, in this kind of limbo time period where we don't know where tech is going, I thought I'd just kind of make like my favorite tech or my everyday carry, kind of a mix of some of the cool tech that I carry and I've used in the year and that I really liked. But hopefully this kind of helps you understand altogether what I use on a daily basis as far as tech is considered. And I'll also give some ratings in there to help you if you are planning to get some of these products. So the first piece of tech I want to talk about is the Orbitkey Nest. And Orbitkey sent me this a couple of months ago actually, and I never actually got to using it to a full extent. I mean, it was just on my desk, just sitting there. It had everything I needed, but when I'm at my house, I just have everything with me that I need to use. When I started traveling recently to visit some relatives over summer, I actually got to using this a lot more. I had everything I needed for filming, for technology, for everything that I was using, like power adapters for my Mac, and charging bricks, I mean, you name it, right? But the idea with this is that you can just pretty much carry everything you want just in this little box. And I mean, it looks great too. So it has this little strap that you can unlock when you need to get into it. The wireless charging is not the best. It's pretty slow, I noticed. But like, say you need a couple percentage bars before you go outside when you're staying at a hotel or something, you can definitely get that with this. You just slap it on and it works. I mean, wireless charging, again, is definitely a lot of times just an extra thing. I mean, you can just plug it in. There isn't really much to it. But I don't know, I just really like something about having it when I'm on the go, not having to plug in cables somewhere and, you know, forget it, because when the cable is plugged into something like this, you're not going to miss it. So it's something that is based on whether or not this would really help you. So it's a very niche product in my opinion, but for me it's been fantastic, and a lot of other creators I know have been using this. So it's a solid, I'd say 7.5 to 8 out of 10. And quick disclaimer before we continue the video, a lot of the companies mentioned in this video, like Orbitkey and some of the other ones I'll mention, most of them have actually sent me the products to review and to test. It's not at all paid. It's not a paid review. I'll give it its honest rating, but I just thought I'd mention that because a lot of people would probably want to know. I am not biased to any companies, but I do appreciate these companies, especially Orbitkey, for sending out the Nest and some other goodies. So yeah, thank you to them, and this is in no way a paid review. So let's move on. For the next portion of this video, I'm gonna talk about more of like a group of technology devices that rather than a piece of tech. So this is kind of the heart of my desk setup, which I might make a video. I always wanted to make a desk setup video, never got to it, but this is probably the closest, at least so far, that I've gotten, which is the heart of the desk setup, and that's the keyboard, the mouse, and of course the desk mat, which I do use a desk mat, and I'll talk about that. But the mouse that I'm using is the MX Anywhere 3 mouse, and I can just tell you, it really blew past my expectations. I was using just a trackpad before this, got this about, I think, a couple months, almost a year ago, and it's just been great. Like, I saw the MX Master 3, a lot of creators using that, and a lot of people using that for work, but it just looked too big to me when I looked at it in the stores. And yeah, this was perfect because it's a great small mouse. It's great for traveling and has those programmable buttons on the side if you use a Logitech app. And I just switch between screens. I switch between desktops for multitasking. It's been fantastic. It moves smooth. There's no jitter, and it has a great battery life to my experience. If I were to improve one thing about this mouse, it would probably be the jitter of the actual scroll. So like I said, there's no jitter or staggering or anything when I'm tracking it, like moving the mouse. But when I scroll on Mac, it has a little, you know, lag every time, and I think that's just how Mac is built. It's probably only built to work well with the actual Magic Mouse, because I've seen people scroll with the Magic Mouse. It works great, but with this, I've tried setting it up in different ways, different scrolling lengths, different intervals, but it just won't scroll fully smoothly. So yeah, that's just a small complaint, but overall it's really surpassed my expectations and it's going strong to this day. So I think personally it's a 9 out of 10 for my needs and how I've used it. It might be different for you, but I strongly recommend, especially if you're looking for a portable, small form factor of a mouse from Logitech. And for the keyboard, I'm using the Keychron K2, which is a real recent addition to this whole setup. And frankly speaking, I wasn't really a big fan of mechanical keyboards before. I mean, I probably should have tried them before being so dismissive, but I'll be honest, I thought the built-in keyboards were the way to go. But thanks to Keychron, I was able to try this out and check out how it feels, and it's been my introduction to mechanical keyboards, and it's been fantastic. Like it's really something special. The feel is nice. I can use it for long hours. It has some cool lighting in there. The key travel is something I've learned about, and it's very important because it really gives you that sense of typing something, and it's also great for, you know, long hours, not hurting your hands. You know, it's been fantastic for me, and I'm really excited to potentially try more mechanical keyboards in the future. So to give this a rating, I'd probably do 8.5 out of 10. And supporting it all is the Grove made desk mat. And initially when they sent this over, I thought, you know, there's no grip tape on the bottom. This is probably going to be something that I'm not going to use much, but it's been a couple months and it's pretty much been on my desk the entire time. It's fantastic for mouse tracking. The feel of the mat is really smooth, and for typing, of course, when you rest your hands on there, it's great. It doesn't move unless you actually try to move the desk. Like one time I was trying to adjust the desk and the desk mat just kind of slipped, but when you're using it, when you have your pressure of your hand on the desk mat, when you're moving your mouse or typing, it doesn't move, and that is without grip tape. So it's been fantastic, and the overall experience is really great. I'd give it like an 8.1 to 8.5 depending on, you know, what is your budgetary constraints for something like this. It's really expensive, or obviously GroveMate sent me this, so I didn't really need to purchase it, which is why I'm just giving it that rating because of the price. A lot of GroveMate products are really expensive, but that's because they're built with so much quality. And GroveMate has sent a lot of other stuff over, like a desk, monitor, compartment holder, and a lot of other stuff. I definitely want to make a full desk setup video, and I definitely will do that. So if you're a company that's interested in showcasing their product or your product, definitely contact me, and I'll see if I can include it if I like the product, of course. Finally, this is the tech I've been the most excited for this year, out of a kind of uneventful year. It's the phone I'm holding right here, which is the Nothing Phone 2, and I think I can kind of just, yeah, here it is. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So this is a phone that I'll be honest, I was both skeptical and pretty excited for. I saw the Nothing Phone 1. I never got to test it out. I was a bit busy at the time. But the idea that a phone is just solidly used for the fact that it has this glyph interface that I showed you guys, that light up thing, the fact that it's just for that people are buying it, I thought that's got to be hype, surely, right? I waited to get this device, used it for a couple weeks, and this is kind of me speaking about it. So spoiler alert, I'll talk about it a bit more, but this device is fantastic. It's an all-arounder. It has great performance, and it's great to use. I mean, it's just smooth. It has a new, like, fresh custom OS, which is obviously like a UI skin over the Android OS. They call it Nothing OS. And it's just overall a well-rounded experience. Is it kind of a bit hyped up? I think so, but I mean, if you're a tech enthusiast, you kind of understand where I'm coming from, which is that this is something that's exciting we haven't seen in a while. I mean, if this came out in 2018 where all the devices were so innovative and fresh, like bigger screens, you know, new Face ID technology, everything with Android and iOS, but an iPhone. But now if you look at it, a lot of the devices, like I mentioned in the beginning, they're really just the same device again and again. And that's not an issue. It's just because we don't have, or companies don't have, much room for improvement because they made their devices so darn good. So, I mean, the idea here is that this is something that's very unique, and it's fresh. It's an idea from a young kind of a startup vibe company, and when I see that it's also a very well-rounded device that has this unique OS to it and unique vibe to it, and also has glyph interface, which works with like your Uber car coming in or your timer. As far as the specs are considered, it's great. It's I think $599 here in the US. The price from a regular standpoint is just a solid phone that has this cool feature on the back. So that's been really it. These are some of the tech that I've used this year that I've felt have been awesome. Not really as eventful as a year as the past 3 for me and for the tech world, but we're hoping, or I'm hoping, that next year with the Vision Pro and more VR, AR headsets, mixed reality, it's going to be a lot more exciting than this year. But yeah, that's pretty much it.